No, I'm just curious.
Sorry?
I'm just curious.
Sorry.
Because I'm curious. Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah. Curious.
Okay.
Yes.
Curious. Are you like thinking about becoming a medical interpreter?
Maybe, but I don't know because I think it's very hard and kind of stressful. So I'll be more interested in translating, I think.
Okay, that would be with Catherine.
Can be stressful too. Today is a really stressful day, but I get it. I find it also quite hard to do the interpretation thing, to keep, to stay tuned such a long time and switch between languages. I thought about trying that, but then I was quite.
Oh, by the way, Catherine, I found a US-based German OPI. She's got all the contacts. I said I would send you her email in case you're still interested in taking some German OPI. She works for US-based clients, that need German medical interpreters. Yeah,
sure. Just in case I run out of work.
Who else is there? There's someone talking. I can't see everybody. Oh, it's your husband. Hello, Catherine's husband.
We are sharing offices now.
Hallo, guten Tag.
He doesn't hear you.
Oh yeah, you're on the headset, of course. I'm so dumb.
No worries. Well, shall we start then?
Yeah, well, I was expecting more people, but okay.
Me too. There's someone coming. Someone else is coming. Hello?
Yes.
Here.
I can put myself on.
Who is RS?
Hello, AS. We don't know your name. Would you mind telling us your name? Your microphone is off. Hello. Your microphone is off.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, please hold on just a minute.
Yes.
Only a minute.
You know, this is a good practice for your talk in France. And we can practice it already.
This is the pilot, yeah? I'm not nervous about today because it's MedTalks. It's like family, it's home, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll give this same presentation on Thursday for my DPSI professors group, and there are 50 attendees confirmed. Yeah. So it's going to be huge. And then I'll give this one again in another private interpreters group by mid-May. And then I'll be so ready for the French convention because I'll have given it like 3 times.
Definitely, yeah. It's a good.
But it goes by itself. Huh?
Hello.
No.
Perfect.
Sorry, Eva, what did you say?
I said in the third time it will go by itself.
Yes, like they say, third time is a charm, yeah? So, AS, what is your name?
So, my name is Anna Stephanie. I know nothing about this webinar. I just saw the MedTalk over there and I entered because I am in the medical laboratory field. I made a kind of disconnection for a period of time, and now I am rethinking to go again. I will start again to work at the laboratory, and I don't want to lose it. Like, first of all, I like it. Secondly, it's all of that work, all of that job, all of that school, all of that everything, so that I would not want to lose it.
Great. Are you interested in going to medical interpreting?
Like, what is this? What is this actually? Like, I would like to know about this so that I can give you an answer.
Okay, lovely. So I think we should start. Yeah, it's 7 past already, so we can start.
Right.
Catherine, you have the floor.
Yes. So you state that remote medical interpretation is more than just mastering terminology. Would you like to explain us how you mean that?
Yes. So first of all, what is remote medical interpreting? Yes. Medical interpreting itself is interpreting inside the healthcare sector. Yes, all healthcare sectors. So we interpret for private practices, GP practices, for hospitals, emergency rooms. We interpret for private clients as well. For instance, I have some direct clients from the Netherlands and the US who have stem cell clinics. Yes. We do births. Yes. We do deliveries like over the phone and over the video. That's why it's called remote medical interpreting. Okay. You have this modality face to face on site. Usually the hugest market is the US and the UK. Okay. Why? Because immigrants and war refugees go to these countries to find a better life. Yes. And they need to have medical appointments. Yeah. All sorts of medical service, welfare and stuff. And they do not speak English. Yeah. So there is this modality, there is medical interpreting on site, face to face, inside hospitals and clinics and all welfare sectors. But there's also, after the COVID pandemic, there was a boom in remote medical interpreting because we could not leave our houses, we could not work on site. Yes, we could not work in person. And after the COVID pandemic, people started to see that remote medical interpreting worked and pretty fast and pretty well over the phone and over the video. Yes, everything is done via the internet. The agencies I work with or providers, they usually have their own systems. Yeah. For instance, it's like a VoIP system. Okay, they provide you with a US number or a UK number over the internet, and then you take the calls over the phone mostly or over the video. Yes, so I'm based in Brazil, but I work with the US and the UK. Yes, those are my main market. Yeah. And I work with immigrants and war refugees or political refugees from Latin America, Africa, Central America. Yes, I work in Portuguese, English, Spanish, and French. Yes, English is the language that the US and the UK speak. So I make the bridge between English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Yes, for these people that require interpreters in their medical settings or welfare settings, public service in general. Yes. So it's more than just mastering terminology, because, for instance, what I see happening a lot is that some agencies are hiring mere bilinguals to be medical interpreters, remote medical interpreters. And they give them like these basic glossaries on medical terminology for them to have it, like along the consultations and everything. But they do not prepare this bilingual to be an interpreter, and especially to be a medical interpreter, because the things you face, the scenarios you face inside medical interpreting are really rough, really distraught, really serious matters. Yes, I interpret from stage 4 lung cancer patients. I put people to sleep, aka I interpret their last words on their deathbeds. Yes, I interpret for emergency rooms, so people that got into really bad accidents, and I need to interpret for them. I interpret into the medical interpreter. We also do social work, psychology, psychiatry. We also deal with criminals. We also deal with serial killers. We deal with all sorts of people. And since these people are immigrants and refugees, they are already in a very delicate position. Yes. So usually they are distraught, they are nervous, they are in pain, in a lot of pain, they need solutions. So it's not only mastering terminology, medical terminology, or public service terminology. You have to be prepared emotionally, yes, for the scenarios you're going to encounter during these calls and video calls. Okay, Catherine?
Wow, that sounds really, really tough. I have another question, but what do we say here?
Yes, go on, ask your question.
Well, I have a spontaneous question. How do you cope with all this emotional trauma you experience? Because it is kind of like your own drama too, isn't it?
Yes, there is one type of trauma that is very common amongst healthcare providers, healthcare professionals, and social workers, and people who are in psychology and stuff like that. It's called vicarious trauma or vicarious trauma. That is, you absorbing the person's, yes, the refugee or the immigrant problems and traumas to yourself. Yes, I do not suffer from that, luckily. But what makes me go crazy is when providers and limited speakers do not know how to use the interpreter, because they do not have a previous training, previous education on how to use an interpreter over the phone or over the video, especially over the phone. Yes, because sometimes we are in a minimum three-way conversation. Yes, it's the patient, the provider, and the interpreter mediating. But sometimes, for instance, if you take a pre-op session, yes, you have the whole medical staff in the room, and the family and the patient all together, so it's only me mediating for 10 people. Yes,
Crazy. Sounds
so
almost impossible, basically.
yes, it's crazy. Any of you have other questions before we go on with the second slide?
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Is
Yeah.
this only through the line, only even physically, or only virtually?
Yes, it happens physically with people who are based in the UK or the US. That are the main markets for medical interpretation, because, as I said, the immigrants and refugees, they tend to move to the US or to the UK to have better opportunities in life. Yeah, but they do not speak English. Yeah, but I'm based in Brazil, but I do it over the phone and over the video. Yes, internet based. Yes, or via Zoom, for instance, via Skype, or via their own what we call OPI, that is over the phone interpretation systems. Yes, they provide us with a system to take the calls, the phone calls and video calls.
So it's like an emergency system, like that works through virtual and physically.
Yes, physically it's different. Physically you are. Catherine, I can hear your husband. Could you? Yeah. Physically, interpreters are booked to go to the setting, to the hospital or to the clinic or to the emergency room. But over the phone, we work in a system that we call on demand. So I stay online. I have 7 systems logged on at the same time. Yeah. And when one system rings the phone, I turn off all the other 6 and take a call, and that goes on. So I stay online practically 24/7. Yeah. Because I work for the UK, that is 4 hours ahead of Brazil, and I work with the US, that is usually 1, 2, 3, or 4 hours behind Brazil. So I can take calls in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the small hours. Yes. And sometimes, of course, I turn them all off to rest. Yes, to have lunch, to rest, to have
Yeah.
my own life. Yeah.
Does this have to do with my profession, like for the medical laboratory technician?
I have interpreted for laboratory technicians, for instance, when a patient needs to do some blood work done, or they need to go
Okay.
through some specific exam
Yeah.
in the lab, then the laboratory professional needs to explain the procedure to
Mm.
the patient
Mhm.
or to the provider, and then I
Mhm.
do the bridge. I make the bridge. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
For them. Yes, I also work with big pharma. Yes, there is a specific client of mine that only deals with big pharma. So I have to interpret for the big pharma people and hospitals and providers that have professional and financial exchanges with the big pharma, for instance. Yeah.
Great. Let's get to the next question. When you say every conversation carries the weight of a person's well-being, what especially do you mean, and how do you ensure that as an interpreter?
Yes. The thing is, some providers, and I think it has to do with something cultural, but some providers are not to mention places or names, of course, because it's unethical. But and also some agencies that I work with, they have these protocols that you are there only to interpret the words the people are saying. You cannot show any emotions, you cannot show any humanity. You just have to be there to parrot everything they say to each other. Yes. But I've quit these sort of providers and agencies because being a telephone and video interpreter and medical interpreter, public service interpreter, the core of it is showing empathy, is making the patient feel safe and embraced and trust you. Because once they do not trust you, they will not open up, they will not talk to you, they will not convey the real feelings they have. It's not just talking about symptoms and diseases. Yes, you're also there to show, like, to convey their emotions, their fears, their expectations, their hopes. Yes. So I quit this specific protocoled agencies and clients by the end of 2024 because I am human. These people are human. These people are vulnerable. We're not just there as robots. Yes. If they want
Exactly.
robots, they should use AI to do the
That's
session.
what I just thought. Yeah, exactly. And that was one thing that put me off from interpretation, was that you are supposed to be like a robot. I have a lot of emotional feelings when I handle patients. For the ones who don't know, I am used to be a nurse. So, and then I was on site interpreting as well. But I couldn't do it without transporting feelings, even from the patient to the doctor, because I don't know, it's just not possible. And then I thought, if I can't do this, then I don't want to be an interpreter, because that's not what a human does. And what you said, I just thought then they can implement AI. That would be just as impersonal, wouldn't it?
Yes, and for instance, you have, as an interpreter, you are not just translating words. Yes, you are translating this person's personality, tone of voice. Yes, it's really like it's translating and also being an actor. Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah, right.
you have to convey everything the person is saying. If the person starts getting distraught, you have to change your tone and also show that the person is distraught. If the person starts crying, you have to show that the person is crying through your voice, through your tone, through your pitch, so it's not just translating, parroting words. Yes,
Yeah,
you have to convey everything the person is showing. Yeah, so that the provider can be aware of the real state that person is in at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But
you answered the next question already.
Questions?
Yes, Eva.
Yeah, I wonder if it's only you and me and also the doctor seeing each other at the same time if we're doing like a video like this.
You mean what is it like? The scenario?
If all are visible, because then the doctor may see the patient too. It's not only you seeing the patient.
Yes, we
Understand?
all see each other. Usually it's the doctor and the patient inside their office. Yes,
Yeah.
or inside the pre-op room or the post-op room, or even in very serious cases, I am there in the operation room. Yes,
Yeah.
in the operation theater with the patient on a table.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then the doctor may see the body language of the patient, even though they are not talking the same language.
Yes, it's much easier. It's much easier when you do via video call, because when you do it only via telephone, we are all blindfolded. Yes, we can
But the
only
doctor
count
and patient,
on the auditory input.
but the doctor and patient still see each other.
Yes, yes. Sometimes they are in different places. For instance, for therapy sessions, the patient is in their room, in their house with their camera on. The doctor, the therapist is in their office with their camera on, and I am in my office with my camera on. Usually this happens via Zoom. Yeah. We're all connected in the same room via Zoom from different locations. Yeah. Even from different countries. Sometimes the patient is not in the same country. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Any other questions? Yeah.
yes, do you have this new way of doing medicine? This that you see your patients to do diagnosis and stuff on, yeah, just like a VRI. Do you also have those scenarios that patients don't go to the doctor physically, but then in like everyone is sitting in front of a screen and the doctor is telling him to move or to do this and to do that? Is that
Yes.
something to do?
Yes, usually there is what we call telemedicine that can be, they take the calls over the phone or over the video from their homes, because for some reason they cannot go to the physical office. Yes. And then we're all connected via the camera or over the phone, like in a 3-way, 4-way, whatever way call. Yeah. Usually for emergencies, when people call an emergency service like 999 or 111 in the UK or 911 in the US, it's over the phone. Yes. And they say like, oh, please send me an ambulance here because this and that is happening. And then I have to mediate this whole emergency call or video call. Yeah.
And you're all on the phone at the same time. Well, that sounds stressful.
Maybe he's
Seriously.
just jealous.
Would you like to tell us a bit more why you believe that interpreters are an irreplaceable bridge between patients and providers to get more put into?
Yes, well, since the advent of AI and ChatGPT, translation already has been hugely impaired by AI taking over everything. Yeah. And now it's coming into interpreting. Yes. It's coming first into conference interpreting. Yeah. But they are also trying to implement AI in medical and public service interpreting. That's what I do. But from all tests they have done so far, it shows like only like 20 or 30% accuracy, and there are lots of AI hallucinations and misinterpretations. And again, we deal with real people, vulnerable people. Yes, serious matters, life and death matters. A wrong word that you use, you can deport an innocent person to their country where there is war. You can kill a person. I like to say that we medical and public service interpreters, we are the scalpel in the hands of a doctor. We are the gavel in the hands of a judge. Yeah. So AI, fortunately, is far from getting into the medical and public service scenario interpreting, because it's inaccurate, it shows no emotions, it does not read emotions or empathy, and the accuracy levels are so low, and misunderstandings and like life and death situations are there all the time. So AI has not been allowed into this sort of job I perform yet.
Yeah, I must say, as a translator, everybody keeps saying AI took everything over, which is, it's not true. I still have a lot to do, and I get more and more to do. Of course, it changed. It's not that you translate from scratch, but it just helps you to be faster and to do more. And I'm not concerned by AI taking my job, and neither will you need to be concerned. I don't think AI is going to take over interpretation, because it's just, even if it would translate perfectly, it would just not translate emotions, as we had now talked about. And I can't see that happen in the next future. So, well, I'm optimistic.
Any
But it's the
questions?
same.
Yeah, Eva?
It's the same thing when machine translation came. It's just an help.
Exactly. That's how
It's
I see
giving
it.
us ideas, but we have to direct them and correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. It helps to find a structure in a text, maybe, or just to do some brainstorming and get ideas about what to block or whatever, maybe research. But it's not going to take my job away. I'm quite sure
Yeah,
about
but
that.
for instance, in medical and public service interpreting, sorry, we sign heavy non-disclosure agreements that we are, and there's also regulations, compliances that we are not allowed to use any sort of AI in our note-taking or in our search. Yes, because everything that you type into, for instance, DeepL or Google Translate or Chat GPT, everything spreads to the web, and confidentiality between provider and patient is essential. Yes, it's a rule. So we have to use, if you like digital note taking, you have to do it on Word, but not connected to like Word 365. Yes, that is cloud based. Everything that is cloud based, you are not allowed to use. You have to do handwritten note taking. Yes, you have to use glossaries that are on Excel sheets or written glossaries. Everything, of course, you can go to an online dictionary to search for a specific word out of context. Of course, you can Google or some name of an institution, and you go to specific institutions websites, official websites, to search for terminology for everything. Yes, but it's highly monitored. And if the remote interpreter does that, like uses DeepL or Google Translate, or they take notes in a cloud-based software, they can get huge fines. I'm talking like $1 million fines. They can be sued, and they can even go to prison, and they will be banned from being a medical and public service interpreter forever. They will be blacklisted. Yes.
This is a good step. I think that this is a very good step because, however, in my opinion, even if the AI might be the current new thing that is expanding and everything, the brain human, I think, can't compete at all with the AI. Like, even though, because a professional medical, I guess, or a professional medical laboratory technician, as I am in the position, will never accept to follow the AI rules. Will never accept to follow the like, if a patient come to me and he mentions or she mentions me the AI, I will just ignore the thing. I will just, and here he or she will see the professionality, because the AI might be okay, the solution of the moment, but soon and I hope very soon, because it's messing out the whole world. I think that can't compete. The human brain is on top. Like,
and we
I would
feed
like-
AI. We feed AI. Humans feed AI.
Yeah,
humans
I would
feed
like to
AI?
say something.
Go, Eva.
May I? AI, it's exactly as Doris said, it's fed by human beings. I'm one of these persons feeding AI in Swedish language. I have such a work. But also, I would like to say AI, it's also building robots. And I'm a nurse anesthetist and working in operating theaters where the robot is doing the surgery, led by the surgeon, but while using the robot, the bleeding less, the operation goes more exactly, precisely, the recovery is much shorter. It's a lot of benefits using the robots and IA. Also, for instance, in MR and X-rays departments, the AI finding the tumors, which in a human brain, human eye, not are able to see. So I don't think we should talk too bad about AI, but you can never leave them alone. You can't let the kid run away.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. They
If
must be our
if you run
allies.
to the sea,
They must be our
because
allies, but
they
we
want to
cannot
bath.
let them take over.
Yeah, but you are back and you check
Eva, can
is
I
this
give an
acceptable or not?
Eva, can I give an advice into this? By the moment that you are using the robotic system, I think that you should never leave it without checking.
No, it's the
At
same with
least
kids. You
without
can
being
leave them. They will
without
run
being
into
you
the sea.
without being you checking the result, because if you leave on the hands of the robotic system, the robots
And
is well known, is now that they might mistake. So
That's not what Eva was saying. She was saying that the robot would help the surgeon because it can be much finer and
yeah,
much. So Eva didn't. I at least I didn't understand that she said leave it alone. It's just
Yeah, but
as everything.
in regards to translation and interpretation, it's faulty, it's dangerous, even supervised. Yes, you can do MTP. Yes, that is machine translation post edition, like to check the problems AI rough translation brought. Yes, but you as a translator, you have the time to do it little by little, but in interpreting, real-time interpreting, you do not have space to correct any mistakes, lot of mistakes AI brings into it. Yeah.
I never talked about the interpretation because it's something I put aside. I will not do that. But I would like to say, and also as Catherine said, I never said to let AI alone. I said you have to keep it as you take care of your child.
Yeah.
You have to watch them.
I mean, that's also what I see. Oh, sorry, Eva.
Yeah. And also, I would like to say AI can give you a nice ideas of how you would like to translate. But it's up to you if you like to just pick it, copy paste, or if you like to change it as you like to have it. But they give you a good idea of what you would like to express. I
Yes.
think.
Yes, of course.
I think the same. Yeah. And what I saw, like in the beginning when I started translating about 2 years ago, everyone was like, "Oh my God, AI, we are gonna have no jobs at all." And now in the last, let's say 4 months or something, voices change. Even on LinkedIn, they say, yeah, the clients came back. The clients who tried to just use AI came back because the translation were so bad. And now it's like kind of a compromise. It's what Doris said, the MTPE. AI does like the framework, and we do the fine tuning. And I'm fine with that. I love that actually. I like to be effective and work a lot. And for me, that's completely okay to work like this.
I have no problem with it either. I don't know if it could be a system as an interpreter to have a certain delay to check the AI what they would like to say, and you can correct and as you like.
Yeah, as I
As you
said,
can do as you
in conference interpreting, that is simultaneous, real-time interpreting, it has been used by some organizations, and from the forums and groups and all websites I follow on that matter, there has been huge chaos. Yes, because they prefer to use like, oh, we're going to pay for this AI interpreting system once, and it costs like 1/10 of a human interpreter. But when they put these AI systems to interpret, for instance, a council meeting with the locals of a city, of a region, yes, there have been lots of misunderstandings that AI, because AI cannot, as I said, cannot read emotions, cannot read cultural nuances, cannot read slangs, cannot read very specific terminology, and people were misled by what they were hearing that was being interpreted in real time by AI, So in conference interpreting, it's been happening, but it's been a huge fail. Yeah.
I think by the time the providers who would like to have an interpreter will choose a human then rather than an AI caused by the quality. But in the beginning, they try to use because it's much cheaper, but then they find out they are making too much errors. So we are going back to the human.
I believe that too.
Eva, depends on what you make a priority. If you will make a priority the AI, you will fail. If you make a priority your healthy mind, you will succeed. Like, it depends what will you put in balance.
It's the doctor who decides. It's the doctor.
The doctor decides for sure.
Or the hospital or wherever you.
But it's a collaboration. It's a connection between the doctors, between the med staff. Like, it's a connection between each other. So we all depend on each other's work. So it's much bigger than on simple, like, the thing is it shows like more quality if we do this, in my opinion.
I don't think Doris may choose. It's the doctor she's working for who choose.
Or maybe the clinic.
Quality, the AI, or Doris.
Yeah.
Yes, but in medical and public service interpreting, I also do conference, but in medical and public service interpreting, AI is forbidden by law because of confidentiality compliances, because of accuracy issues. Yes, it's totally forbidden inside medical settings and healthcare settings and public service settings. It needs to be done by humans. Yeah.
It's just funny, you can't even use an AI tool to take notes, but then they want AI to interpret, like, do the whole interpretation. That's kind of,
Yeah, conference interpreting is a totally different fish kettle. Yes, because in conference interpreting, you talk like, well, it's also very delicate matters, delicate topics, but you were talking to a huge audience. You are in the booth. Yes, it's a very controlled environment, and you're just like really interpreting what the person is saying real time. Yes, but in medical and public service interpreting, that is consecutive, short consecutive, and dialogue consecutive interpreting, a completely different world. This is not possible, yes, to introduce an AI interpreting system, because you have to listen and translate and wait for the reply and translate. Yeah, an AI system cannot do that. Yeah, cannot interact this way. In simultaneous interpreting, conference interpreting, it's all the way the interpreter speaking, like, because there is a person, like a monologue person doing it. Yes, then the interpreter just goes with the flow, non-stop. Yeah, but in this dynamic that is medical and public service interpreting, that is long, short, and dialogue consecutive, people need to take turns. So an AI interpreting system just can't reach that as for now. Yeah.
Well, shall we get back to our presentation on our actual
Yeah.
discussions like this always end up in AI, but I would like to talk more about what the difference is from in-person interpretation and OPI or VRI behind it. Like,
Yeah, in-person interpretation is always the best way to go. Yeah, because you are there face to face with clients, providers, patients, whomsoever, whatsoever. Yeah, you are in the real setting, so you can see the person's body language. You can feel, you can sense the environment, you can see everything. But over the phone, you are blindfolded. You can only rely on your ears, on your hearing, on your cognitive skills, and it's much more difficult because you have to put it all together and concentrate on your ears. Yeah. Via video, it also helps, but it's also limited, because you will see the part of the office the provider allows you to see. Yeah. The patient, if the patient is in a different location, but also via the video, is like us here. I can see only what your camera allows me to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then you feel more the other part when you're in the room, right? It's like the vibes, which is, I can imagine, much harder via video.
Yeah, and also like with remote interpreting, we are on the internet. We have technical issues. Sometimes the internet goes down. Sometimes the system they provide goes down. Sometimes their microphones have terrible quality. Sometimes they are on the loudspeaker from a very old cell phone, and you listen to the whole hospital's noises in the background, and you need to filter everything. So the cognitive overload is much, much more intense if you do it over the phone,
Well, we covered that one already now, the technical challenges. Let's see what the next question is. Yeah, that would be a nice one. And then I have another one.
Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who's considering a career in remote medical interpreting? Well, first of all, take a basic 40-hour minimum course on remote medical interpreting for you to be aware of, because we need to be operators, we need to be IT technicians, we need to be interpreters, yes, we need to be translators, we need to be researchers, we need to multitask. Yes, so it's not only knowing the terminology. Yes, it's all of that all together. So go for a 40-hour minimum accredited course, reliable course. Yes, take the course and see, is this for me? Is this not for me? Yes, because in this course, you will have all the information you need regarding scenarios, regarding types of clients and providers, types of patients and what we call LEPs, like limited English proficient speakers. Yeah. You will learn lots about soft skills, customer service skills. Yeah. You will learn about vicarious trauma. You will learn about everything that is ahead before just being, oh, I'm bilingual, therefore I can be a medical interpreter. Yes. Some people, they have these skills, but they do not have these skills. Like, you have to make dial outs. You have to be an operator. You have to solve, you have to know how to troubleshoot yourself system glitches that you reach your PM and they would just give you an answer like 10 hours later, the day after, you know? So you need to know IT basic skills, troubleshooting. You need to know operator skills. Yes, dial outs, dial ins, merging calls, excluding people from calls, you know? And you need to be an interpreter, and you need to be multitasking. You need to be a very quick and excellent researcher, because while you're on the call, you need to be checking for some term or from some specific name. You need to do it all together. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you have the qualification, you also have like better job options. Otherwise, you just get the low-paid jobs where you can't show emotions.
Yes.
Those agencies. What was I going to ask? Yes, I wanted to know how you cope with the stress and how many hours you're actually on the phone. How do you like mentally set yourself back into a state where you can go and take on the next call, especially when you have like a life-threatening or like really hard call?
That's a great question, because there are two types of remote medical interpreting services. There is one that agencies will put you on a closed shift, 9-hour shift, okay, and you have 30 minutes of non-paid break and other 2 15-minute breaks for you to rest, and then you have to be there to take every single call, and we're talking about like 9 hours straight, yeah, with these very small breaks that are not paid, and you take like 200 calls a day. These are the bottom feeders. These are the agencies that do not follow any compliances, any regulations. They hire mere bilinguals. They provide ludicrous training, like they just give away some leaflets on medical terminology, you know. They do not prepare the person to be a medical and public service interpreter. I work in a system that is the best one, that is a per minute system. So I am an independent contractor. Yes, I work anytime I want, as long as I want. I don't owe any explanations if I stay offline for 1 day, 1 month, or 1 year. Whenever I want to come back, I come back. And for instance, sometimes I take a 5-minute call, but the people, they do not have turn-taking sensitivity. They start speaking over each other, speaking over the interpreter. And they are like, they do not know how to use an interpreter, you know. This 5-minute call gets me so over the top, like so like exploding my mind, you know, because of the behavior, the demeanor. Yes. Then sometimes my record was a 4-hour call. Okay. It was a 5-party call with patient, doctor, psychiatrist, therapist, and a patient's mother, because it was a minor. Yes, it was a 4-hour, very, very tense call regarding the topic. Okay, because this girl, she had been sectioned. That is, she was forcefully hospitalized in a mental institution because she was a suicidal and she had other mental issues, very severe mental issues. So this call, like the topic was really sensitive, really tense, but these people knew when to speak, when to stop, when to listen. So the 4 hours flew like 5 minutes, and then I was ready for the next call, you know.
Yeah. How do you usually handle this? Like, can you say like, okay, after every hour or after every session, I have like half an hour break, or is it really, really dependent on what type
Yes,
of
as
call
I
you
told
have?
you, it depends on all of those factors. Sometimes, for instance, since before my mother died, she passed away about a month ago, and she had stage 4 lung cancer, and I saw her dying painfully and slowly 24 hours a day. Before that happened, I would take stage 4 lung cancer patients all the time. This did not affect me. Now I put a disclaimer there, yes, like a full stop, like please, when it's a stage 4 cancer lung patient, I'm not taking these calls because I'm not ready yet,
Yeah, yeah,
but
understood.
usually I take breaks when I start feeling brain exhaustion and your brain starts giving you signals. The first signal that comes in, like the first alert, is I start stuttering. Yes, I start stuttering. And then I say, well, first alarm. Yes.
Yeah.
And then, like, immediately, like 10 or 15 minutes after that, I start switching languages. I'm supposed to be speaking Portuguese or in Spanish or in French, and then I'm speaking English, and I do not notice that. It's usually the provider or the immigrant refugee that tells me you're switching the languages, and then I say, this is it. I need to take a break because I'm reaching brain exhaustion, and my capabilities as an interpreter will be impaired from now on if I don't stop.
And what happens then? Do they get another interpreter, or do
Yes,
you?
yes. They get another interpreter. I disconnect. Yes. And since they use this system with thousands of interpreters and it's on demand, they'll just dial again to the system and the system will transfer them to another interpreter to move on with the call or whatsoever. Yeah. And then I have to take at least a 2-hour break, doing things that are not cognitive involved. Yes, like cleaning the house, playing with my dog, cooking, like I
Yeah.
need to do some other things to rest my brain and eat properly and rest, and then I go back to taking calls. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. That was exactly what I wanted to know, how you handle it.
Yeah.
Doris, I understand you using or playing around with many languages, but if you have only one language you translate back and forth, are you is the capacity that much so you will be having enough job?
Enough what?
If you
Job?
would work only in one language plus English, would you have enough work to do?
Yes, in fact, I do. Like, because Portuguese, that is my mother tongue, since I'm based in Brazil and I am from Brazil. Portuguese is spoken in Brazil, Portugal, and lots of countries in Africa. Yes.
But I'm talking about the job through the system you are working.
Yeah.
Would
If I
it
can
be
choose,
sufficient? If it would be sufficient with one language, full-time job, full-time
yes,
work?
yes, I started only working with Portuguese English, and then I added Spanish and then French, and
Yeah,
then
I
calls.
understand.
Yeah, calls
But
come
would
all
it
the
be
time.
sufficient with only one language to
Yeah,
English?
yeah. But for
The
instance,
system.
Spanish English is a pair that is going down because there are more Spanish speakers in the US itself than in Latin America and Spain together. People speak Spanish already. It's like by default. So what I tell interpreters is being bilingual only is not enough nowadays. You need to be at least trilingual or multilingual in my case. In conferences, I work in 5 languages. I also work in Italian, but Italian for medical and public service interpreting is really rare. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I thought.
actively for medical and public service interpreting, I do Portuguese, Spanish, and French with English. And in conferences, English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Italian.
I'm just asking this question because, for instance, I'm talking Swedish and English. And it's quite a small group, I think, then, no?
Yeah, because what you have
be-
to think is Sweden is a rich income country and people know English from their cribs, you know?
Yeah.
They learn English, they speak fluent English. So
Yeah,
usually,
that's why I'm asking this question.
yeah, you have
Well-
to learn to be a public medical and public service remote or in-person interpreter. You need to speak the language of the poor, of the refugees, of the immigrants. So it's mostly like Brazilian Portuguese, Spanish, French, that is not real French, like from France, you know, the French I speak is a mix of Creole
In
language.
Sweden, it's more like Arabic and this type of. It's not Spanish much in Sweden, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's all the
Yeah.
African.
So it's
So what
different.
are the immigrants? What are the immigrants that live?
Yeah,
That
from
are there?
Syria, from Afghanistan.
So you have
and
to
so on.
learn. So you would have to know Arabic. You would have to know Afghani. You would have to
Sari.
know, yes, Sari. These languages, Urdu, like Asian languages are always in high demand. Eastern European languages always in high demand. Arabic will never stop. Like war countries, war zone countries. Yes, very poor countries. If you want to be a remote medical and public service interpreter, you need to learn the language of the immigrants and refugees. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same thoughts. That was the other thing that put me off. I speak German, Swedish, and English, and I would still not get enough jobs there as an interpreter because those are all rich languages, you know.
Only if you had
And,
direct clients and in conference. In conference, you
Conference,
will
yeah,
find
probably.
jobs. Yes.
Yeah.
EU conferences, for instance.
Yeah,
Oh.
I could imagine that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, the kind of work that Doris does, I think you really have to speak one of those four languages
Mhm.
to get enough work.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any
All
more
right.
questions?
I think we covered a lot today.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have questions?
It was a very interesting topic.
Thank you.
Definitely. And what did you feel like, Doris? Was it a good training? I will stop the recording now.
Yes, it was really good. I was just like a bit disappointed because I was expecting more